This might sound strange, but the biggest gamble I've ever made in my life had nothing to do with money. Let me explain what I mean. A few years back, I took a big gamble on myself. I My life was kind of okay, meaning there wasn't anything bad going on. I wasn't strung out or anything. I mean, when you think about things going bad or being bad in someone's life, none of that was happening. Everything was fine. Family was fine. Kids were fine. My extended family was fine. There was nothing really happening. And that's exactly what the problem was. I just felt like I was out of control in my life. I had no say on anything that was happening. Things just kind of like were just happening without me. I was just a role player in the video game of my own life. I went to work every day, came home every day, took care of the kids, took care of my wife, called my parents, all of the normal basic things. It was just, I mean, it was fine. Everything was fine, and that's where everything kind of felt like out of control for me on the inside, deep on the inside. Um, I guess life was becoming routine or boring. And again, I'm not someone that would complain about things, but I just felt like I had no uh, control or say in how my life was going to go. My weight was out of control. And when I say out of control, I'm not saying I was 500 pounds. I'm saying that it was continuing to go up, and it just kind of continued to go up. I think my cholesterol was starting to get up there. I wasn't feeling great, and my in interacting with playing with my daughter, carrying my daughter. My daughter fell asleep in the car, and I had to carry her from the car to the house. There's like this long hallway, and I just couldn't make it all the way carrying her. It was just too much. I just it was bad, and someone mentioned a challenge. Challenge was the 75 Hard Challenge by Andy Frisella. I've mentioned in the past, and there are basically, I think, 5 or 7, maybe 10 things that you have to do on a daily basis for 75 days. And things are working out twice a day. It was top off the list for at least 45 minutes. One of the things is you have to perform an outdoor activity. So one of the workouts has to be outdoors. So you have to do 2 workouts. One has to be outdoors, mandatory, and it could be anything you want. No alcohol. There's no specific diet, but you really can't binge. Like no sweets. It doesn't say no sweets, but no specific diet. Reading 10 pages of nonfiction book. Drinking 1 gallon of water every day, and I think that's and you have to take one picture of yourself every day, and that was it. I mean, pretty simple. I was thinking, hey, I could get this done. I know I can work out and I can drink water. Reading, none of this is not a problem, except for the outdoor workout. What will the outdoor workout be? And I looked around, did some searches on the internet, as we all do, and discovered that walking actually counts as a workout. I could walk. So I was like, okay, I could walk. And so it started. I started to walk and do everything else. And shortly thereafter, I remember I was working out, but I had this pain at my back. I was just kind of like out of sync, but I was still walking every day. Things came up. Maybe one day I didn't read 10 pages, things like that. And shortly after starting this 75 Hard Challenge, the only thing that I was doing consistently was walking. And it turned into this thing where all I wanted to do was the most important thing for me to do was to get my walk in. And I did. I remember that first day I walked, I hated it. I didn't like it. I was feeling my blood vessels in parts of my body I'd never felt before. Sweat was coming out of pores I didn't know I had. It was just awful. It was hot. I live in a hot climate, okay? And being outdoors can be brutal, and I hated being outdoors. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do, if I could do anything, was just get my body accustomed to where I didn't hate being outdoors. Like if you were to tell me we're going to do anything outside, picnic, family gathering, anything, I just wouldn't want to be there. I just hated being outdoors. But I knew that if I could do this outdoor workout on a regular basis, maybe my body could get used to it. I could get accustomed to it. So that first day was horrible, horrible, horrible. But I stuck it out, and the next day I did it again and again and again. And I just never wanted to go back to that first day. I never wanted to feel the way I felt on that first day ever again when it came to being outside or just walking. And that's how it all started. The thing that was the big gamble is that I never was reliable to myself on anything like that. Nothing long term. I might do something for you for a period of time. Like if you ask me to do something, sure, I'll show up there 2 or 3, 4 times, but then I'm gonna slack off and not do it. But me showing up for myself, that was me honoring small promises, honoring personal promises. And that's how everything started. And I have to tell you, that was the biggest gamble, because I had no track record. It was a chance I was taking on myself, and I wasn't really sure if that was ever gonna work out. The only thing I knew is that the next day I needed to do it again and do it again and do it again, until the point where walking became non-negotiable, and I got a lot more out of walking than I put into walking. I gained a sense of peace. There was my weight started to go down. I started to feel more in control of my life, because I knew that if I could walk every day, I can do other things. It was like small victories lead to bigger victories. So I started to become more confident in myself and what I would stand for, what I would do, because I knew that I could depend on myself, and if I could depend on myself, then you could depend on me. And the other thing I developed was a strong sense of patience. The thing with walking, unlike anything else, like jogging, running, biking, any of that stuff, is that walking, there's a limit to how fast you can go. You can go, yeah, sure, they're world-class speed walkers that can do a mile in 6 minutes, but that's world-class Olympic. That's a special type. You can only go so fast when you're walking. And so just in walking, I learned to be patient. I'm going to get from point A to point B in due time. I'm not going to go any faster than the time allows. I wasn't going to kill myself. I hate jogging. The physical stress on my body is just too much for me to bear. Now I know. I could focus on jogging, and over a period of time I get accustomed to it, but I just haven't felt the need to do that because I get so much out of walking. I had the peace of mind. It seemed like everything just kind of slowed down. I was able to have a mental space, my mental health improved. I just started feeling just an overwhelming sense of happiness and pleasure when it came to just walking on a daily basis. And so I say all this to you to say that, the gamble that I made is the same gamble that you can make. And maybe you don't think of it as a gamble. Maybe you just don't even give yourself a shot. You just don't trust yourself. And I'm saying, give yourself another shot. Trust yourself just one more time. And all you got to do is just do it that once. You're just trying to do it that one time. And then if you do it that one time, maybe you can do it tomorrow. But just do it today. Just today. We're only concerned about today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. That's all I got. That's what I'm talking about. That was the biggest gamble I ever made. And I have to tell you that decision to try something, even though I didn't complete the 75 hard challenge, for me to try something and to be consistent on it is what gave me the proof that I needed, the permission I needed to even attempt to do something as public as YouTube. All right. So if you have some sort of habit, if you want to take a gamble on yourself, you can check out my habit tracker in the description. But yeah, again, I know what it's like. My life was out of control, meaning that I had no control of my life. I didn't feel like I had any direction or say in what was going to happen. And then as soon as I started to find that I could do something on a daily basis consistently, that's when things started to turn around. And I think that was the seed of transformation. I think we get caught up in the idea that were sold, the story that were sold like through Hollywood, through movies, through stories, because it puts a nice little bow on it. The hero's journey, and then something happens, and the hero turns out to be everything happens within a 120-minute span of time, 120 minutes or less. You see all these things happen, and the reality is transformation does take place, but it occurs on a much more minuscule, minute basis. But those small changes lead to bigger changes that lead to bigger changes that turn into the person that you can become. All right. Thanks for listening. Take it easy.